Dum da dum dum.
X68 bolt spring swap part 2. And here's how I'm going to do it. I forgot a spring to try yesterday. And now when I say I forgot a spring, I'm just running a readily available springs, not one of the springs that I order from a far off land. What I have installed right now in this X68, it is completely stock. It has a factory bolt spring inside, fresh 12 gram CO2, unpunctured, 7 9.9 gram riot balls. This launcher has been inside all day. It's been like almost sub-zero here, like 2 degrees. But inside the house, it's probably 20 degrees Celsius. So this marker is fully acclimated to over there, not in here. So it's gonna have its best chance to prove me wrong in what I saw yesterday when I tried this alternate spring. So here we go. All the numbers will be based on what you see here, regardless of what I said in this marker was recording an average of 50, 51, 52 hot shots from a initial puncture. That's what it was doing. Yesterday, I fired 4 consecutive CO2s. Didn't quite see that number. I saw 45 joules, which is that's still decent, right? So here we go. Proof's in the pudding. First shot. $330. Never mind the $624. $320. $312. This X radar sometimes. Oh, 666. Jesus. Better go faster. 308. $302. $294. $290. That was 7 shots. Now I will wait 1 hour. I'm going to install the other bolt spring from another launcher. Fresh CO2. More 9.9s. And we'll compare. I'll write them down on a piece of paper so we can have a good hard stare at them. Lapse time 1 hour. I would like to think this was sufficient time for the marker to warm up. New bolt spring installed. In case you didn't read the title, which many of you don't even watch the video and just write comments in. Believe it or not, that happens. TIPX bolt spring. It is about the same length as the X68 factory spring, but the coil spacing is wider. So it's a lighter spring, so to speak. Fresh 12 gram, oiled, identical to how I normally lubricate my markers. 9.9 gram, 7 shots. Here we go. $330. $322. $314. $308, not 552. 302. 296. It's accurate, I promise. 294. Last one. Let me jot those numbers down on a piece of paper. We will confirm. We will discuss. Rate 'em and weep, boys and girls. This is the crazy person data. And this, when you just look at the numbers, you're going to understand why. When you're chasing numbers, you could drive yourself bonkers over nitpicking here and there. And as I said in my last video, 1 or 2 joules isn't going to make any measurable difference on your target. I mean, I think DK said it once. It's like, person's not going to be like, oh, that one hurts a little bit more. It doesn't really happen like that in the instant that a situation arises. But so here they are. X68 factory bolt spring. TIPX bolt spring. Starting off, hot shot, exactly the same. The letter or the word I've used here is associated with the TIPX column. X68, 46, TIPX, 47, better. X68, 44, TIPX, 45, better. And then right around here, 43.40, 43.40, they're identical. 41.72, 41.72, identical. And then on the last 2 shots, the TIPX spring picks up a little bit, and I mean just a little bit, for a better score. Overall, average 7-shot total. The X68 spring on a acclimated marker launcher, 43.47 joule average over 7 shots. The TIPX spring did 43.87 joule average over 7 shots. Does it make a difference? In this case, I would say no. So don't go out and buy up all the TIPX springs. You can see clearly right here, the X68 spring is nearly identical. There's no reason to change it. I do these tests so you don't have to. Now let's talk about what I saw yesterday and why I decided to do this video separately. X68 bolt spring swap. I mentioned in the last video, the testing may have been flawed. I fired 4 consecutive CO2s through this, and I claimed this launcher did 51, 52 joules with a 9.9 gram riot ball, and I wasn't lying. It was close today, but the reality is that final test was on the 4 CO2, so it shot, I think, 45 joules. But here's where the kicker is. So went back inside, I realized, dang it, I forgot the TIPX spring, and I pulled the TIPX spring out, and it looked awfully similar to the X68 spring in length. Coil spacing was different, and I thought, God damn it. So I loaded her in. I fired this marker on the 5th consecutive CO2, not quite in that like 1 60-second interval. It's more like a 5-minute interval. But suddenly this marker jumped to 50 joules again, like I had claimed it shot on the factory bolt spring. So I got excited. But I knew I had already spoken about the flaw in firing consecutive CO2s. Don't think I need to go into why that's a problem. Supercooling your marker affects efficiency, velocity, all that good stuff. So I had to wait another day. Today was that day. I proved myself wrong. Really, I did. you got to remember, we only have 12 grams of CO2 in here. So I like to think about a 12 gram CO2 like an engine, like a power band. So you can only changing your bolt spring, you're just moving the power band around. You have higher horsepower up top, but a really weak low end, or vice versa. That's really how it works. There is only so much CO2 to go around. So I'm never really expecting any miracles, but I have to go through the process. It's just something I do. And this was a perfect example. I didn't find anything there substantial that you should go out and buy up every TIPX spring on the market. It proves that they got this right. There are other combinations of bolt springs that I probably will try, but I think this really says it. I mean, for the average bear, this marker does what it's supposed to. And there's no real reason to keep changing things. Well, I'm going to, you know I am.